What's up, guys?
Hey.
We are here on the After Phish After Show talking about Alpine Valley Night 1. I am the Great Went. We have Tim, Mike, and Amanda with us, and the power is on. We got 2 sci-fi songs, interesting opener to set 2. But first, I'm going to throw a question out to you guys. We're going to come back at the end of the show later for this. Are late tour shows better historically, anecdotally, in reality? And you guys think about that till we get to the end. But let's jump in with Fuego. And Mike, what you got?
I felt like Fuego started very strong. The band was connecting right off the bat. I sort of wrote Extra Mustard. Trey kicked off a really awesome, I call it folk song Trey. He kicked off a really killer melody. And
what is folk song Trey?
Yeah,
it just sounds like an old-timey kind of.
Well, it's like if you think about like the Hampton Simple from 2018 or something like, or the Albany Yem, it's sort of like the same kind of deal. And I said type 2 leaning. They never really quite got into a type 2 space, but they were like right on the border of it. And then I said dialed in from the jump. The band was pretty well connected right off the bat. And I'm not sure, but was that the first ever Fuego opener?
I believe so.
Right.
And it's like the 36th opener this year. They've only repeated 46 days as the only repeat.
Right. And it's got a, and Fishman had...
Fuck me.
Yeah, no. There you go. So that's what I got. I thought it was really well played by the band. The band, they seemed pretty hot, as no surprise, hitting the stage at Alpine Valley.
Yep.
First night.
What you thinking, Amanda?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, it's Alpine. We're getting close to the end here. I feel like all of us have our own stories maybe at that place. So yeah, it was a fun, interesting way to start. Did not expect what was coming after that, but hey, I'm all for it.
Well, right. Fuego is also, they've sort of been teasing the song itself in a lot of jams this tour.
The night after they played it one night, the next night, exactly. They definitely almost were in it. Like Trey forgot that they had played it the night before.
Well, right. And I've sort of like, I've heard it, it's sort of been a little bit like Sigma Oasis, which has been like in 4 to 5, 6 jams. It's been referenced, and then they finally played it and they put a huge version of it. But I wonder if it's sort of a similar situation, Right. They're referencing something that, they're going to play in the future.
Right. So does the soundtrack reference? We'll talk about that later. Yeah. Clear your mind, Tim. You're a sci-fi guy, right?
I'm increasingly so. Every time they break it out, I think the stock rises. This song is one of those booty shaking songs. Like, it gets people dancing like instantly. It has such a fun groove to it. I think it has a lot more potential than it's lived up to as far as a jam vehicle. I think it's going to become a jam vehicle in the future, maybe next year or something. It's almost there. Didn't quite get there, but
like
very
Fuego,
high
almost. Like Fuego almost
Fuego,
got there.
I feel like has gone out, been taken out though in the past a couple of times.
But tonight I'm saying it's like it's the tentative thing. We can't we just can't do a 20-minute song to open. Yes, you can. You did it last fall.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I think they can actually do that like with any song they're playing right now. And it's sort of up to them whether they decide to sort of take the plunge in a lot of ways.
Can I get a 20-minute My Sweet One at full speed?
Well, I mean, we'll get to this later, but there was a solid attempt at the ass handed, like a type 2 ass handed. Anyway.
It was. So
I'm
Amanda,
so afraid to say anything though. I didn't want to jinx it. That felt like such a vulnerable moment.
It's clear your mind, kind of open ended, and we ended up in Twist, which was pretty nice. What are you thinking, Amanda?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they were done with Clear Your Mind because that was only the 3rd time I think it's ever been played, right? I mean, it's still so new, but it doesn't necessarily feel like it.
Right, Mexico, maybe they did it.
Yeah,
was
I mean,
the other
recently.
time?
Within recent history.
With this in the year, right?
Yes, for sure.
I mean, I'm still calling it Holy Blankenstein.
I like that too. Yeah, I mean, Twist. So I think it was around between like the 7 and 12 minute mark. Twist tonight, I wrote down. They just got into that really nice kind of lyrical section. Paige had some great moments. It's what I like most about that song when they can get there. So I was really happy that we got some of that tonight. Thought that was a solid section right there.
I mean, just as an aside, like Twist is one of my favorite tunes because you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
Every single time, it's basically a different song in a jam, and it's sort of what they feel like going after in that moment. And yeah, no, I was happy they played it early. It was enjoyable.
I like how quick they can get out of it into a jam too. Like I felt like coming out of the written composed part, they got right into a super funky jam, a really cool jam with it, and then
Right.
which kind of set up that backing for the clear your mind teases and reprises to be sprinkled in because they dropped right into this funky jam.
Right. And then I guess Destiny was next. Is that right?
No,
The
we had a Haley's
Haley's.
Comet.
With some
Oh,
Haley.
Haley sort of got tossed away again.
Yeah.
It was only 7 minutes. I mean, the last two Haleys had a little bit of meat on the bone. This one, not so much.
Yeah, no, yes, I agree. I've been waiting for them to sort of just let loose a little bit with it because it hasn't really. Well, they did that in like I guess 2019 on New Year's Eve might be the last time.
Hershey last year
And
was
Hershey.
a good Haley's.
It did the Lonely Trip, yeah.
Into the Lonely Trip, yeah, that's the excellent one. But yeah, I agree. A lot of times, if I feel like it's set up in the sweet spot in a show, and it doesn't necessarily like. For me, this is Merriweather like 8:15. It's like, dude, Haley's is going to open up the second set of the show. If this isn't the moment, what's going on?
Right.
It was like this year, right? Merriweather, Haley's got totally
same thing.
Destroyed, right, in terms of going to tweezer, which I did not mind necessarily when I heard that tweezer, but
which may be the ripcord of the summer.
Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know.
Can you have a ripcord if it's tweezer they go into though?
No, but tonight might be a very solid competition.
I was gonna say I made a note that tonight is definitely a contender for that title.
Oh, totally. I have a note right here in my notes.
We all took the same note.
I know.
We gotta talk about the ripcord.
And we don't talk about this beforehand. I mean, just in case anybody's curious. So I love finding this out.
It's like you have to stay tuned if you want to find out what ripcord we're all talking about.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
Ripcord of the day. So then Destiny Unbound. I'm not a fan, so I'm gonna let you three run with it.
I also not a fan, so I'm just gonna sit back with you, Kev, in our not a fan bubble.
I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm not a fan. I do like the song. I think it has a fun groove. I saw my first version at Fenway Park, sitting on the field in like 2009, which was a really interesting show. Sort of.
Is that the one setter, or is that the one with?
No, that was the two setter. They came out and sang the Star Spangled Banner beforehand, and then
is that the one with Jay-Z?
No, this is when they debuted. This is Fenway Park, not Coney Island. So this is when they debuted Light.
Okay.
And
it's all coming back to me.
A lot of old songs were played, but I understand. A lot of people didn't have great seats. I happened to be on the field and thought it was a great, fun show. But this song has also had some troublesome history recently. I was in Charleston, and they had a really difficult time bringing back the head of the jam, and it sort of was a big miscommunication situation. So tonight's version was really solid. I thought the band was crushing it, and
maybe they ran through it in the dressing room. Sometimes
apparently, they apparently did for Petrichor.
It's coming. It looms.
It definitely looms.
Like a storm in the distance.
I have a follow-up question though.
Sure.
So about Destiny, I mean, do you think it's because of this just mythical lore that still kind of hangs over it for a lot of people, not for everybody?
Why they like it?
Yeah, just of how you feel about it. Because sometimes I'm one of those people, like, if it seems like such a big deal, I automatically am kind of like, I don't know.
Right. I remember when they used to play it. I saw it a couple times in '91, and we used to make fun of it that they were just ripping off the Grateful Dead. It sounded like Railroad Earth or Solar Circus or any other generic jam band.
and that's the whole like I don't know this like what I've heard is that the reason they stopped playing it for such a long time because there was one person in the band that thought it sounded like too much like the Grateful Dead, and they were like, no, you know. But
Would that be the drummer?
I'm not gonna. It's either him or the bassist.
It was the bass player doesn't like his own song. Fuck that
It was
song.
possible. Mike is a really strange bird.
Right.
I want to put it beyond him.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, like they played it actually quite a fair amount in 3.0. You know, I don't know.
I was at the show when they busted
but
it out in 2.0. And
Yeah.
the place went wild. It was deafening loud when they played it. And I was just like, man, I guess I'm going to hit the head. No one will be in
Just
there.
an early version of a Mike Set Killer, honestly. Like,
It's the original Mike Set.
it's the original Mike Set Killer.
Mark that.
That's pretty rough. I mean, I'm in Massachusetts right now driving through the Rotary, so I'm like, I'm okay with it.
Nice.
It's fine. I mean, it's fine.
There you
It's
go.
fine.
But
but I
I
understand.
didn't expect to talk about Destiny this long.
No, sorry.
That's great. No, it's
You get-
perfect.
Can we get to the MoMA dance?
Yes, the
we
meat,
should
the
get
We can.
meat of
to
this.
dance.
I'm going to throw it to Amanda to start, and then you jump in, Mike.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So what was it? Around 23, 24 minutes, somewhere around there, right? Total. I was trying to keep track. So there was a section. I mean, I know we've heard this one a fair amount, recently, but I felt like my favorite part of the jam within that song tonight, I put Trey is using some restraint. I just felt like where he was really like he could have wailed, but I love when he just pulls it back just a little bit. It was around like the 13-minute mark. They settled in, and I love when they do that with this song. So I enjoyed kind of the build that they had tonight for that.
Yeah, no, I totally was. I think for me, I have like they kicked off this really cool section of the jam, and then they were searching for a landing spot for a long time, which morphed into a lot of different ideas. And I've got down here like there was a little bit of a Manteca undertone at points, and then Trey did his little descending. It's basically like an open fifth, the bing boom boom, which is sort of a Ghost of the Forest tease, is how I read it. And
Right.
Cool.
it's like one of his like musical transitions that he uses, whether it's that or Mountain Jam,
They
which happened in Bowie.
butchered Ghost of the Forest the one time they tried that.
I mean, was it Runaway? I was at a Runaway Jam, I think.
Yeah, and then they did Song I Heard the Ocean Sing. The rest
Right.
of it was pretty cool, but and Page was like had samples of Trey's voice that he was playing. There was like this weird vocal thing. I don't know.
But
Maybe it was me.
this. Like I was at Charleston in 2019, and there was a section in the Sense and Subtle Sounds that ended up going into the I'm a Man jam or whatever. Before that happened, there was a huge like Ghost of the Forest tease, and from that point forward, I've sort of been keen to listen to. It's just basically like an open fifth. Trey goes boom, 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 and it happened tonight. It's like, oh, that's cool. But the MoMA, I was at the the 3 MoMA show in like 2016, which was.
Does this rank?
I think it ranks for sure. I mean, that show for me was a really troublesome show because the band was sort of not really doing it. Yeah, no, it wasn't happening, and there were times of incredible awesomeness in that show and other times where it was like
train wrecks.
Total train wreck. And they couldn't play Gula Papyrus, and anyway.
Right. So what you got, Tim, on this MoMA? I don't want to let you out of the.
No, let Tim in.
No, it's all right. This central time zone, like the time shift, is fucking me up. I'm a little more tired tonight. I'm not gonna lie. Than we've been all tour. No, the MoMA was the highlight of the first set, I think, for me.
For sure.
It was a really fun jam. I think I like MoMA. I think it's a good, fun song to begin with, regardless of where the jam goes. And this jam just happened to be a really good one. But I'm not going to be able to give you more profound analysis than Mike here. So I'm just going to agree and say I enjoyed it.
I don't think it's profound. Let's
I do. I was thinking it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then we got Amanda. I guess you and one of your favorites, Drift While You're Sleeping, huh?
Yeah, big time. I mean, you know what? I was feeling the jam and Moma Dance, and the gospel tray
Why go
thing.
there?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, yeah, no.
I thought for sure we were getting an antelope.
So
I did too.
At some point, a couple minutes in, the sadistic part of my brain, which definitely takes over a lot of the time, is like, I would love for them to go back into Clear Your Mind right now. Just take this whole situation and just give me some Ralph Macchio. Like, that would have made that such an epic set.
But instead, they threw down a little reggae.
And that happened, and that happened in the next set with the ass handed.
Yeah, so I kind of got what I wanted, just in a different way.
Yeah.
I feel like I got drifted recently. Like that happened to me at a show recently where
the
they
Man.
went.
You're not wrong.
They did the encore at the Man.
Yeah, I don't know. It's always a thing.
Didn't they play it in Atlantic City too, or no?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking about actually.
Wait, all kinds.
Fuck
There's
your
repeats
camera.
from Atlantic City. There it is. Your
There it
camera's
is.
acting weird. And with
Yeah.
that, we're going to go to our sponsor, not Tim's camera maker. I actually want to send a shout out to Bryce, Guy Forget's ghost, who was on the other night. He's at the show tonight all weekend, I guess, but I have so depended on him with his set list work, his timing. He posts the whole set with the time. All I got to do is copy and paste, and God bless him.
Nice
I'll mention this right now. I met him after the Blossom show. And it was a great moment. I was with Kate Fuego.
Oh, cool.
And it was great. I met like 20 to 25
I met her at
people
Bethel's. Yeah.
that night.
We met her at the Man. I met her at the Man. Kate. We met Guy Forget's ghost last year at Dick's. He found us in the stands.
You know what's funny about that? I talked to him for like 15 minutes. He had no idea who the fuck I was. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll follow you on Twitter. So he goes back to his seats. I follow him. And he's like, holy fuck, I didn't realize I was talking to you. I had no idea.
He's a lot skinnier than I thought.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Anyway.
So let me do my housekeeping. Everybody out there, please go comment on any of our content. If you comment on something, I will find it and I will respond to you. Subscribe, click on the little bell, so every time we drop a video, you get that little notification. You're always up to date. And for the most updated info on Wook Plus, follow us on Twitter or Instagram at Wook Plus. Tomorrow, HF Pod has Biz Archive himself, Mr. Scott Marks one, so that should be a great show. 1 o'clock on their networks. And for the Fish after show tomorrow night, we have Larry SG, who is a writer, and we have the reigning Waddy, Scott Makita. Wody. I went over it. I went over it and over it. I swear to God, I tried to do it right. God help me. Fucking you get your ass handed to you every day, huh?
I ran into Makita in the bathroom line at Meriwether.
Oh,
it was a great time.
Larry,
when is it not? I mean, really.
I ran into Larry actually at AC, and before the show, we had a really good conversation about Phish and the tour and the night before. And I was like, "Damn, dude, you're pretty good at this." So then I reached out to him and told Kev, I was like, "We should have him on." And so I'm excited. I think tomorrow's gonna have a good conversation. Cool. These guys know a lot. So
I met Larry in April too at the Tweet Up at South, I think, before the run.
Yeah, nice. He lives there. Yeah,
he does. He plays some damn good guitar.
Yes, he does.
He's got a lock, so I don't know. Ass handed. Tim, take it off.
It was a pseudo jammed out ass handed.
Yes, it was.
The second they didn't close it, you knew it was going to be something cool. But I don't know if you guys felt this way. I almost felt superstitious or like it was super vulnerable. I didn't want to say it was going to be jammed out. I didn't want to think it. I didn't want to breathe it. I certainly couldn't type anything. Right. And I mean, it didn't go as far as I think it could have, being a cool thing. But it was enough out there that I thought it was cool.
What do we think? It was like 6 minutes? Something like that?
Yeah,
6
I think
minutes.
it's pretty
slightly jammed out, pseudo jammed out, but it was fun. I don't know, and like I was watching, I had it on mute, but on the TV, all the news and stuff about like a certain somebody getting the book thrown at him, and it was just like so poetic and funny to like have the headlines on the on the TV, and then watching the show. You get your
The
ass
world's
handed to
coming to
you.
an end, and
You're right.
It's so
Your favorite-
relatable, and it's a Friday.
Friday.
How'd your week go? Well,
it was a
this is how
perfect
it was.
place. It was a perfect place to open up with
It's a
that.
fun way to start a set for sure.
I thought they sort of referenced the MoMA dance or Black Eyed Katie and some of the grooves in that initially, and trying to set up what was trying to be like a type 2 jam.
All right, you were tweeting about Led Zeppelin riffs later, and I think that was ass-handed, but we'll get there when we.
No, I heard some whole lot of love, but yes.
Really? You did? All right. So, Amanda, Set Your Soul Free. What'd you think?
Okay, so I get really down on the song, and I'm sorry, because listen, I know it goes a lot of great places. With that said, and I think it's more because it's the adult contemporary feel, at the beginning up front, that I have to kind of guard myself against being jaded of being like, oh, this is not exactly what I'm wanting. However, I know it's only been like 2 shows since they played it. I mean, it's just so recently, right?
Right.
I think it could have gotten to a great place. I was actually rooting for it. I really was, which is not something I would even normally do. But it didn't quite make its arrival to where I even thought it might get tonight. And I was hoping.
What I think is so interesting about this song is that just about any time they play it, it gets to a certain space. This was the first one that didn't do that for me. It just fell flat, and I felt like it was a really severe ripcord into it out of what space they were in.
Right.
I wasn't too pleased, and that's when I tweeted, I think, East Troy. Sorry. But
there you go.
I was like, no, this is, I think, the 5th or 6th one, maybe, of the tour.
And they've all had some really interesting stuff going on. And tonight, it didn't feel like they were connecting on any level with it.
No, I think it just, as you said just a second ago, they just played this song. And there didn't really seem to be a lot of fresh material or communication tonight.
It was already starting with the disadvantage of being the song that fucked up the ass-handed potential. Right, like whatever they went into, we were going to be a little bit.
It already had 2 strikes.
Yeah, I mean, unless it was like the fuck your face like they did in 2016 in Grand Prairie. I mean,
they had some
options. To top that, honestly.
Yeah.
We'll never
I don't know. This song was in some sort of rarefied air. It's sort of like the new light / everything's right. Like every time they play it, they crush it. And tonight just did not happen. So maybe
I felt like they were forcing it maybe a little bit tonight. I don't know. I think you're being too generous though, Mike. Like it's definitely become a great jam vehicle and has had some really strong versions. But there's also been a lot of like pseudo. I mean, I don't think it's like the masterpiece song anymore.
No, it's not, definitely.
The bar is so high with that song because of the disproportionate number of great versions that anything that isn't above that bar is meh. And I think that's where I was tonight.
It's for me, like in a lot of ways, maybe it's time to sort of de-emphasize it a little bit.
Put it on the shelf till like maybe Mexico.
Set it free.
I mean, it's fine. It's sort of light is in that space right now. They're not really connecting on that.
Right. Maybe
we're in the same situation, but I totally agree. No.
I think that they connected on Golden Age, though.
Oh, that was good.
Pretty.
That was really good. And I sort of felt that coming.
You did. You tweeted open the set with it. It took them a couple songs.
Took them a few songs, but I sort of felt maybe they would go for a trip on that.
That song sets up a really pretty fun jam, too. Like
I think. Go ahead. It just gives them a lot of options. I feel like they can do a lot of things out of that.
Yeah. What are you thinking, Amanda?
Something really nice tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I really I do like Golden Age. What I like about it is I feel like it can fit pretty comfortably in a lot of different places. So I think to me that's kind of a workhorse song where wherever it is, I tend to feel like, okay, that's a good spot for it. It could save something for me in a set if I'm not totally there. So yeah, I mean, set 2 I just did not connect with overall tonight. Like in general, I was trying to just figure out where I was within it.
Yeah.
So I think
It's,
Golden.
it felt like a lot of stops and starts.
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah. But Golden Age, I did enjoy that.
The flow is tough, but I did like the songs that they played, but getting in and out of them might not have been the smoothest as possible.
Right. And then we got Lonely Trip, which I feel gypped again back to the Set Your Soul Free because there was no real jam to it. A couple of those Lonely Trips had huge fat jams in them.
Yeah, I don't know if I need a jam with it though. It's a pretty, song for that ballad spot. Right.
I'm pretty biased on it. I love this song. I think it's the best ballad Trey's written in like 20 years.
Wow.
It's nice musically too. It doesn't rely solely on the lyrics. Like it has a nice, it's very beautiful.
It's got really like smooth, like easy changes like underneath.
Yeah.
The guitar part reminds me of this song called Slip Away by a guy named Clarence Carter. It's just when I hear it, I hear that song. And then Trey sings something else. He doesn't sing Slip Away.
It does have a very familiar lounge ballad feel to it, though.
It's that 60s soul kind of.
Right. It's familiar by design, which I think it makes it really nice.
And then it has nautical lyrics.
And if we're talking about Phish, they're the masters of borrowing.
Yes, they are.
Right. Just from everybody. It's just like.
I was always, I would write on tape Sleeping Monkey, Hey Jude.
Right.
Or fuck Golden Age.
No.
Just talking about it.
Hold on. Sleeping Monkey is Let It Be.
Let It Be. That's what it was. Yes. Let It Be.
Let's calm down a little bit.
Everybody settle down. Come on, we're almost at the end of this part of the tour. We got this.
And then we got, Amanda, I'm going to send this to you. Ghost number 8.
Oh.
I lost track of the ghost. Yeah, I was actually counting, trying to count them all up. I mean, it's Ghost, okay, like cool, right? I was so happy for some reason to get the ass handed like extras.
The licks, the reprise. I'm calling that a reprise.
Totally. I was happy with that.
Check it out.
Little spacey ender. I mean, I definitely think I think that where it went was pretty good. I think I'm not going to jump to your question about, end of tour versus beginning of tour just yet, but I think it's tough with a song like this to really know what you want from it at this point in the tour.
Great. It's 3 nights?
Yeah.
Good, Tim.
No, I was just going to say, I really liked the Ghost jam, actually. I think the motion that the tempo took, right, there's a lot of accelerations in it and driving, and then a couple of really smooth settling back down. And it didn't sound like a mistake, like they were like, rushing. It felt like they were purposefully moving and accelerating at parts. I think there were some really weird parts that were not completely disjointed, but took little breaks into the weird and then move forward. I too got kind of super nerdy excited with the Ass Handed reprise in it, but just the flow and motion of the jam, it was very exciting. I thought really good.
I thought it was all because of John Fishman.
Oh yeah, 100%. But that's the only one I listen to most of the time anyway.
I mean, he was like I feel like I've been sort of in tune in listening to him, whether I've been at the show or not this tour. I feel like he's really been leading a lot of the jams at times or reacting super quickly to an idea, and then it's imitating it basically. But he was great tonight, I thought.
Yeah, 100%.
I call it mirroring.
Yeah. So the Ghost Jam, though, I thought was really cool. It sort of entered some familiar space for me. Like it wasn't necessarily like this is new sonic space that we're entering. But that's when I started to hear the Whole Lotta Love tease.
Right. And that was probably as dark as they got tonight too.
Yeah,
really dark.
I think it might have been. It might have been. Enter the same sort of blissy territory, and then there was really nice peaks from Trey and Fishman, and then sort of what I remember is it's sort of going into a dark sort of Zeppelin transition, right?
Which reminded me of Right Ass Handed is what I thought. That's immediately what I thought, because I always think that that's the Zeppelin jam.
This is the thing about Phish. They're so great about blurring the edges. Like they're playing actually two songs at the same time, and you take what you get from
Pick what you want, right?
Right.
Exactly. Okay, so I'm going to go around the horn real quick here. Start with you, Tim. The Howling. Where are you on the Howling? Yes or no?
Yes. I like it.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, I think I'm a yes on it. I feel like it's a little bit of a cop out. It's too severe, but I feel like it's a little bit of like here's another song we can play when we don't know what to play.
Right.
And it has a 2001 light feel to the jam, but it's funny, now that we're wooing to it.
Right. Where are you, Amanda? You a yes or a no on that one?
I'm a yes. And actually, when I was on here after one of the Merriweather shows, they played the Howling that night.
Yes,
too.
they did.
And
in the rain.
out of what's the use? And I was digging it because I felt like it was just a great energy boost for where
that was an absolute perfect placement. The What's the Use at Merriweather was total magic, because there was about 20 seconds where the band stopped playing. There was nothing.
It was quiet, and nobody realized to cheer.
And guess what? Everyone in the crowd was fucking quiet for the first time.
Hey, did they stop playing? What happened?
So that Merriweather made me a total yes on that.
Totally, got you.
Now, are we okay with the Howling part of it?
We're good with it.
I like the wild howling when they're just doing the funky groove and people are just howling like animals. But like the stop start syncopated, like everybody timed howling, where it's like basically woo with the howl. I don't do that.
So
just
me,
listen.
The first thing I think about when I hear like the crowd infuse like woos or whatever is I remember being at Trey Anastasio band at Bonnaroo, the very first one, where he stopped playing guitar and turned around and started conducting the crowd. All right, and he was like, here we go, boom. And he was like conducting. It's like, I wonder if this is sort of the genesis.
He loves that. Idea. It's all the crowd participation.
Yeah, he loves
over the years.
He loves it. But
he has a good time with this one. You can just tell he
loves it. And I'm not gonna poo-poo it. I'm just gonna sort of go along with it.
Well, this was the second Sci-Fi song tonight that had a really fun groove to it and set up some really fun jams and like had that dance to it.
Correct.
Same camera.
Camera's fucking with you.
I love that Sci-Fi sound.
Oh yeah, and some good Gordon moments. Some of my favorite tonight, I think, were in the Howling too.
What the thing that I find is so ironic is like I saw that Phish was sound checking Petrichor, right? And the whole like
it's coming.
Well, the whole like Trey, the green guitar, right? But the whole thing with Sci-Fi Soldiers is Trey was playing like this plastic like translucent.
It's a BC Rich. It was a BC Rich.
But it's a green guitar.
The Warlock, yes, the BC Rich Warlock, yo.
It's fucking awesome. And I wish he'd ripped that out one time for it
just looks bad. It looks spotty shape.
Awesome. I'm totally down with that. No, totally.
That's fun. So, and then Simple again, another 6 minutes Simple. Why are you doing that? Why are you putting that in there and just truncating it? And hey, let's play Simple like it's the Greatest Hits album version. Amanda, what you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, and I am not trying to rush through this. However, looking back on it, having had all this time to think about it, I would say if they could have done some really cool transition from Howling into Bowie and probably really made it
nice long intro.
Super. Yeah. Like, what are they doing? Right. We got a Simple in between there. So, that's what we got. I almost forgot that that's what they were playing, just being completely honest, when they got toward the last couple minutes of it. And someone in the household came in and said, is this still the Howling jam? And I'm like, yeah.
Wait. Oh, maybe not.
Not really.
No, I think in some ways Simple had like the wedge sort of part of the set where it's sort of like we're trying to figure out where to go, and we need a song to figure this out. And maybe we're not going to jam it, but we need to be in a groove.
And
The
if we want
Simple,
to, we can. They
the
could have
Simple,
closed the set.
yeah. The thing about the Simple that was really interesting, it was really fast, like it was hot. You know, I haven't heard
It
a
was
Simple recently
super fast.
where the tempo was so hot and it seemed unsettled.
It was Fuego.
Right.
I don't think
Maybe.
they went into this Simple though expecting it to be truncated like that, or even I don't even think they knew they were going to play Bowie. I
Right.
think they went in with an audible plan where they were going to play Simple. If it locked in and went somewhere with the jam, they were going to take
Close
it
the set.
and climax it, because Simple has the potential, right?
Always.
Simple jams have the potential to do that, but there was one part where Paige, if you listen carefully, Paige went one way and Trey went another, and they simultaneously made a choice on the jam, and you could feel it get very disjointed, and not in like a planned way. It was in a oh shit, you know, and they saved it. It didn't
Left
fall
turn, left
apart.
turn.
Right. It was like literally Paige turning one way and Trey turning the other, and then Mike and Phish were just like, "What the fuck? We'll just hold it," and they held it and they got back. But I think that kind of took them off the track, and they're like, you know what, this isn't going to get us the rewarding climax. It's going to feel forced, or people are going to have to come back and listen to this disjointed start of the song every time they listen to the end. So let's just cut our losses, ripcord, and go into a strong closer that we have in our pocket.
Right. An old favorite there.
An old favorite, which they really crushed it.
They did. I missed the long beginning of Bowie like they used to do, but this one got
How long
nice
do you
little
wish they were just doing the hi-hat like the entire length of Simple? Like just
Yes,
cut out
like
Simple
for
and
5
replace it with
minutes.
just hi-hat for 5 minutes.
Yeah, get into like a whole ambient space with Fishman doing
Yeah,
that.
I agree. That would have been cool.
I'm gonna
And
make you a custom mix. And that's all it's gonna be.
And some secret, you know, you want the secret language and boop, 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 ba-doo, boop, boop, ba-doo.
Or maybe a take me out to the ball game or
Right.
something.
Well, you know, that's a good point though, because I didn't have too many notes on Bowie because it was kind of just classic. You know, I was really enjoying it, but you know, traditionally there's so many fun teases like over the years,
Yes.
right, that they've done. And I was listening, like, am I hearing anything? And I don't always hear them. Did you all get anything?
So
tonight?
the one thing I heard, I think it was in the jam itself. It was not in the intro, and I think Trey's been doing this a few times this tour. He was playing around a little bit with the Mountain Jam, again, like in the Bowie.
Yeah, there were like 2 or 3 minutes in the Bowie that it got away
They were
from.
really. No, there were like, I'd say 2 to 3 or 4 minutes where it was very interesting. I was like, yes, they're in the
the Rider S Jam.
There you go.
Same
Okay.
thing as the
they're in a really cool space, and it was before they brought the head back around, which they did really well. But Trey, I think he's that Mountain Jam. He sort of starts to signal it, and he's like, you know, they're the masters of like sort of teasing but not teasing. you know? And it being like a sort of signal to the rest of the band to do something, you know, whether it's to transition or to, you know, peak it.
Any of those teases are to fuck with the spun wooks in the crowd. You ever just like, he's like, I want people talking about if they heard, you know.
I'm
whatever.
sure I mean, I think they read the stuff sort of tangentially, and I think at times,
Trey watches
well,
Wook
you know,
Plus.
we asked when the guy from Eggy, the bass player was Eggy, was on the lot the other night. I asked him about, are these things planned? Because like one show they did Master of Puppet Tease in one song, and in another song they did a Seal song, Crazy. And
no, they're not. They're not planned. I mean,
no way.
There's no way it's planned. It's a reaction to the
Just
present.
somebody hears something and hey,
yeah,
we can take it here.
You know, what you said before, like about Phish, like jumping into jams. I felt this a lot, like since last summer, and they're still doing this. Where if someone has a really good idea, the whole band goes with it like immediately, and there's no like pussyfooting around. You know, they're right on it, and then it gets nasty like immediately. You know, whether it's Sample and Jar the other night, you know, or Sigma Oasis, you know, whatever. But this is what I'm feeling is they're killing it.
They are killing it. And so then we get to the Well, real quick, tomorrow, HF Pod, 1 o'clock, Scott Marks. Tomorrow night, us, Larry SG, and Scott Makita. We hit the, subscribe, like, all that good stuff for us. We love you. Then we had Lizards and more for the Encore. Let's talk about Lizards. I don't think there's much to say about more. I am so in love with the end part of Lizards. Sitting at Merriweather, just sitting on the lawn while they played that end section of music, I was like, this is just what you want.
It's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
It's like Phish. It's the OG Phish.
Yeah. That one, I feel like probably everybody has a song or two that will, no matter what, take them back to a certain place in time just immediately. And for me, Lizards is that song. I heard it at my first show back in 95, and it just stuck with me the composition, everything about it, you know.
So I also got a Lizards at my first show, and it was in 97.
Me too, in 89.
They did.
Fuck you guys. It took me like 40 shows to get a Lizards. I chased that forever.
No,
they're all just like, first show.
I got like a.
No
it
big deal.
It was early it was Cars, Trucks, Buses, Gumbo, Lizards to open the show, and it was like an 18-minute Gumbo into Lizards. And
was Star Lake?
That is my dream
Tinley
show.
Park, 97.
Tinley Park. Okay.
Mike, you gotta send me that.
The worst show of the 97 summer tour.
The one everyone forgets, the forgotten show.
But no, there's something about Lizards that is so I hate this word, and I try to forget it. That's why I can't remember it right now. But it sort of just it brings back all of the memories, you know, and the history of the band.
Nostalgic.
That's the one. Thank you.
It's one of those songs. Without that song, the band probably wouldn't exist.
In a lot of ways, it was Lizards and Divided Sky that were the first two songs to really hook me into the band, and then it was Tweezer to like blast my mind into
really
space.
In. That's when they put the hook into your brain.
And Bathtub Gin. Those are the songs.
I got to give a shout out to Fuzzy Dice over here because I'm seeing Slave from 95, and that jam, like, I don't care what I'm doing, I'm stopping, and I am just gonna stand there and I'm gonna soak it up and just let it go. Gotta shout that out.
And do any of you get that feeling from More?
Not yet.
Waiting.
It hasn't been enough years.
It hasn't been enough years. All right, so back to my top question: are late tour shows better than early tour shows? Generally, historically, what do you guys think? Tim, you go ahead.
I feel like anecdotally maybe, but I don't know. I don't think so in reality. I think openers versus closers maybe, but once you get out of the opening weekend and like a Dick's or an Alpine where it's either closing like the main leg or the whole summer, I don't think so. I think Mansfield, you know, and Bethel and like early shows compare very well to like Blossom and AC and these. So
I don't agree. I don't think the shows that for me, and I watched those shows. I didn't think the Greatwood shows were very good, to be honest. I feel like they were flat. The band was not quite. It wasn't like them coming out at Homedale in 2011 and like
burning the roof off the place, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it took them a little while to get their footing this tour, and then once they found it, they got it. But I
think by Bangor at the very least they've kind of found it. But
right,
I thought that was a great night.
What's interesting to me is sort of how that sort of mirrored the whole we're repeating sort of situation where the song choices continued to shrunk, over the course of this tour.
Yeah, it's weird.
And there's a point that it was like a week or so into it. It was around Blossom and Merriweather where I feel like the song selection got much
shrunk
narrower.
Down, right? Yes, you're absolutely right. That's where it was.
And I don't know why. It's a great question. I don't know why, but I feel like they could have played anything they wanted, and then all of a sudden they were like, let's just play these songs.
I was thinking that they're falling into a Grateful Dead trap. Let's do less songs, but do them all exceptionally well, instead of doing a mess of songs and fucking
they still
some of them
did
up.
over 200 songs this
It's
tour.
true.
Yeah,
It's true.
I was throwing the songs in Fishnet to count them up, and yeah, it's right around 200 for sure.
It's
if
200.
not more.
And
Yeah.
And
But
it's because
there-
it's not that they're repeating the same like 30 songs. They're doing a lot of new songs, but then they're playing Sand 10 times or
Right.
Ghost 8 times.
Right.
There's a couple of staple songs that have been coming in
Just work.
and then mixed in with some newbies.
So what do you think, Amanda? Beginning tour, end of tour kind of thing?
I'm going to take a totally different perspective on this. And for me, it's about where I am in the tour. So by this point, I think it's hard to really be like mesmerized and amazed the same way I tend to be at the beginning of the tour whenever. So I find there's a lot of variables and factors that could go into better or worse. It's so subjective. I think I have to fight against, I think I called it the doldrums the last time I was on, where it's like,
There
oh,
you
this
go.
again, right? That doesn't mean it's
this
bad.
is an exceptionally long tour, an exceptionally long
is.
tour that they're on. So,
Yeah.
I mean, last summer they
Yeah.
were long done with summer tour by this many shows, and all you had was dicks
Yeah.
coming up.
Right.
So I'll
Right.
say I'm worse at the end of tour. I don't know about
That's a
the
great
band.
answer. That is a great answer because you're saying that, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I'm old.
It's the later time period too, man.
It's fucking with me. Damn
Fucking
it.
with me.
Damn Central Time.
Central
Zone.
I
time.
don't know. They do get really locked in though. The practice and the consistency helps. Just from like a strict tightness of music, I do think they get better the more they play together. But I completely agree with Amanda that the freshness of like, oh shit, I've been grinding through life without live music for the last few months, and you get there and you're doing it for the first
This is
time.
the greatest thing ever.
Dude, when the lights goes down that first time, it's the biggest high I have all tour. Is that first
Right.
lights going down?
No, I feel like it's almost like a balance of,
Oh,
between like at the beginning of tour, like what are they going to play, right? And the excitement about what's it going to be, and then that sort of balanced up against the fact, okay, what are they repeating to get better? As
You're
the
like
tour
sand again, free again,
Right.
and then you're like kicking yourself. You're like, did I really just say free again?
But the thing about that free, like that Toronto free, I remember I didn't tweet about this, but I feel like I was hearing that resolution for like 30 minutes during that set. It's like, when are they going to play free? I
Right.
kept thinking that a couple times during that
And
show.
then you got the monster one at Pine Knob, or where was that? Blossom or Pine Knob?
That was a
That
Blossom.
yeah.
Blossom to open up the second set. Yeah.
Yep. All right, guys, we got some. You got something for me, Tim? Anybody want to say anything before we go? Anybody selling anything? Amanda has her show Wednesday nights on.
Forgot about that. Yes. Wednesday nights, Homegrown Radio. I'll tweet about it. We'll get it out there.
Come find us on the lot at Dick's too. We're gonna have our flags up. We're gonna be the home base at Dick's.
I'll see you in Hampton.
All right.